You sure you're not muted? Be nice, because I did the same thing that.
Oh.
There we go.
You know what? I'm gonna just change my cam out. I'm gonna just be right here. My cam is now right here. Um, I'm going to be talking from the OBS virtual cam because I belong in OBS hell. Because if I would have just looked down at the little y'all, listen, I had to stream this morning. I had a content creation meeting today. I've been in front of this computer all goddamn day. Please charge it to my brain and not my heart. Um, all these words in your name, dear Great Muda, we appreciate you. You are the best. Amen.
You heard it there first. Be nice. Be nice. Bless the stream. Okay, so as I was trying to say a little bit over, God dog, we've been fooling around with this crap for like 41 minutes. That's crazy. So we're gonna do this over. Gonna go ahead and introduce yourself, Brody.
Gunners Games. I've been obsessed with watching wrestling since I was like 5. And I've been looking forward to this moment right here for about a year now.
Okay, be nice. Let the people that may not know you tell them who you are. I think we lost Be Nice again.
Bump that mute button. I hope
Yo,
he's just messing with us.
right, right. Hey, we good, Sims. We good. We good. Uh, I see.
He
Oh,
on the
he must
phone.
be on a call.
Oh, I should be live now. Okay. All right. So sorry. So at I was as I was explaining to Gunner and Creo King Kenny right before we got started, I had a full day. Meaning I also started a business recently. There'll be more information coming out on Blurs Unite Media LLC, but I have some very high priority clients already. And so certain times when my phone rings, it's like uh it's like the hot tag in wrestling. It's like you know it's coming. There's no way to run away from it, and you gotta send it all the way through. So I just got a hot tag. I'm sorry.
Oh no, no problem, no problem. Um, I was just saying, introduce yourself. Let the people know who you
Oh,
are.
okay. So before we get started, I would like to first apologize, Creo King Kenny and Gunner, for having to take that phone call. Also, I want to say thank you so much for allowing me to be on your platform. This being the first inaugural Square Conversations. I'm super excited. Wrestling is a form of content that I have honestly shied away from. It's one that I love, that I have an amass amount of information on. But I'm being honest with you, the wrestling community is a different one.
Yeah.
But I'm super excited because I feel like I've found my niche of friends and peers to discuss this with and to move forward with. I see Gunner will quickly become one of those peers as well. So I'm super excited to just be out here and have this opportunity. But I am Be Nice or Else. I'm the captain of the Blurred Society. I'm also CEO and co-founder of Blurs Unite Media LLC. And I'm just encouraging everybody to be 1% better. So I'm glad that I get to be on Creole Kenny's journey as well. So thank you so much for having me.
Oh, my pleasure, my pleasure.
Also, also have had one drink already, and that's all I probably need.
No problem, no problem. So I think where I want to start, right,
Mhm.
is where or when did you fall in love with wrestling?
Who goes first?
Either one.
So for me, it was the year was 1992. It was a WCW match, Great Muta versus Sting. As you guys heard me earlier, I did bless I'm saying, the podcast or the stream earlier, with the blessings from Great Muta. I am from the lineage of WCW, NWA when my wrestling career first started out. And so Great Muta actually started the moniker Great Muta in America. And so, although I liked some American wrestlers, was a huge Ron Simmons fan. It was the Great Muta that drug me into wrestling, like drug me into the deep end. Like I got obsessed with watching Japanese wrestling. I now wanted to look into Mexican wrestling because when he would come to America, he would go to Mexico too. So like that was what drug me in. Reading like early wrestling magazines, watching early VHSs, talking to my friends about it, like I was part of that lore there. Be honest with you, WWF at that time really wasn't on my moniker a whole lot. So I did grow up, NWA, Smoky Mountain Wrestling, fucking early days of ECW, All Japan Pro Wrestling. So I really had like a variety before. I didn't really fully immerse myself in WWF until was it Raw came what 93, so that would be 93 or 94 that when Raw, like I watched that inaugural episode and when the war first started, that was when I started watching WWF. So between 92 and 95 got me started and been there ever since.
All right, all right. That sounds like a dope history, man. That's awesome.
Mm,
Gonna when was it for you?
Well, I don't remember which one came first, but probably around like 5 years old. I'd go and bounce between visiting relatives, and I remember my uncle Don was always watching WWE or the WWF back then,
Mm.
mhm, mhm.
and I'd
You
go to
gotta
my
you gotta
uncle.
date yourself when you're having these conversations.
Yeah,
Right, right, right.
well, my uncle Jerry at the time was a WCW fan, so it was always fun to sit there and listen to these two go back and forth about which brand was better.
Mhm, mhm.
And yeah, no, just sitting around and watching with them as a young child, 5 6 years old. I grew to love it. It became a part of my routine. And then growing up, me and my brother Champ, who's in the chat right now. I mean, we haven't missed the WrestleMania together since.
That's beautiful.
That is a beautiful story.
That's beautiful.
So for me, I am what I always call a fourth generation wrestling fan. That means that my great grandmother was a wrestling fan. Um, so much so that like Junkyard Dog used to come to the house.
Wow.
Um, so like two things that happened. You were gonna be a wrestling fan in my family, and you were probably going to be familiar with horses because my family also broke horses for a living. Um, it's just I couldn't tell you when because it's been a constant in my life pretty much. Um, so how about we talk about let's because we started kind of talking about it off stream. Um,
I know we're going.
let's let's go to the week that was, man.
Well,
Uh, what?
is Montez Ford in this conversation at some point?
Oh yes, Montez Ford is
Okay,
definitely in this conversation because
yeah, we going in the right direction. Big.
we're gonna just knock the lid off and go right to the biggest thing in WWE right at this current moment, I suppose, and that's the bloodline. Um, they seem to be breaking up. Jay was absent and then showed up for uh, uh, the match between Roman and Sammy, despite being told to stay home. Um, what are your thoughts?
I'm gonna let Gunna go first.
All right. Well, see. A little upset about the other match. Me and Jam went in a deep conversation about this. I think the part that annoyed me the most is where was KO when everybody else was coming out? Like, dude showed up at the end, like after it was all said and done. Like, dude, you're too little, not too little, like way too damn late. But yeah,
It was clearly a Montreal pop moment. Like it, it, it was so much. I'm only coming out here because you know I'm, these are my people, and yes, I kind of have beef with the bloodline, but really, you know, this is I'm just coming out here because these are my people, and I know that they're gonna lose their shit if they see me. Like it didn't even feel like, and maybe that was the purpose, but it didn't even feel like he came out there because Sammy was getting his ass whooped.
I
well,
mean, what did Kevin O say me? I mean, what I mean, did KO not try for months to get Sammy to see the grass on the green side?
Yeah, that's true.
Was Sammy not the reason that they lost War Games?
That's true too.
Like I get how the feelings are placed, but Kevin, in that time frame of that title match, owed Sammy nothing. Now
Yeah,
post title match, Sammy getting thrashed. All right, bet my boy had his title shot. It didn't go out the way he wanted to. I'm not happy about how he moved, but I'm not gonna let them kill him. I'm gonna come save him.
right.
I
I
got
feel
one more
like
thing.
that's pretty fair for somebody who had a shot at a title who I should have had, but who is also my friend.
Right. I get that. Yeah, and you're right about that. I still have feelings about it, I guess. Um,
It's gonna be
Another
that's what
issue,
we call good storytelling, though,
yeah,
right?
no truer words have ever been said.
Mhm.
Um, I have been impressed with the what the stories that Triple H has been able to tell and the direction that stories have been going. Well, with an exception, and we'll get to some of those in a minute.
Boy, it ain't it's always some exceptions, ain't there?
But it's definitely, and I think we can all agree, it's definitely better than where we were a few months ago.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Can we at least agree that refs getting knocked out is getting so overplayed that they had to do it
Oh
twice
my
in one match?
god. Yes, please.
yeah,
I for the life of me, I'm so glad you mentioned that, Gunner. I would love for WWE, because I feel like this is more of an issue in WWE than it's anywhere else, to
mhm,
just let heels win clean. Like I get it, they're a heel, but like just let them be a heel and win clean. Like they don't
right,
always have to have an interference. Like, and if if it is a dirty win, let it be like, I punched you with a closed fist and not an open hand, or
right,
I something else creative other than the ref getting knocked out or a low blow. I just feel like, or a roll up. You know what I'm saying? Simon
right.
Miller, they roll up so much in WWE. Simon Miller on What Culture has a roll up counter. Like anytime somebody can can cue in on you doing something that many times, they got a counter, like it's too much. So
Absolutely.
100% agree with Gunner. There definitely needs to be some change in how they're ending matches.
I I agree. And we're gonna get to the the kicking in the nuts of it all in a little bit,
Yeah.
because I'm not gonna lie, I was disappointed. But in and so we know, or what it seems is, and forgive me, I have not watched Raw. I didn't get an opportunity to actually tune in, but it seems as if um, the bloodline is definitely imploding. But and correct me if I'm wrong, but there seems to be a very big hole. Well, not maybe not big hole, but a hole nonetheless in um a hole nonetheless in the Sami Zayn story. After trying so hard to become part of the bloodline, the big question I have is, after you put in so much effort, why all of a sudden now do you say, okay, this is enough? Like, why all of a sudden now? Because there hasn't been a change in how they treat him. Like, Roman's been Roman, and and the Usos has been the Usos. As a matter of fact, the Usos themselves were treating him better than he had been treated. So why now? Why all of a sudden now is there an issue that was unforgivable?
You go first, B.
Um, I don't. I guess I'm conflicted because I have no real idea what they're gonna do with this story arc. Like, is it Sammy that beats Roman? Is it Cody that beats Roman? Is it Kevin that beats Roman? Is it Sammy and Kevin that win the tag team titles? Like, do we have the bloodline civil war? Like, what? There's no real clear path. And
Hmm.
I think honestly, like WWE's kind of booked themselves in that corner, and they really don't know which direction they want to go with. Um, for me, it's there's no way WrestleMania ends and Sami Zayn does not have a title. What title that is, I'm not sure on what they want to do, but here's how WWE wins, right? This is how WWE wins.
Hmm.
And it's going to be hard to cover everybody's bases because somebody's going to get left out.
Hmm.
Somehow or another, between now and WrestleMania, there needs to be 2 Roman Reign matches at WrestleMania. The They don't headline both nights. I truly believe one of the women world championships will work them way out, whether it be Asuka and Bianca, which I believe Asuka will take the title off of Bianca just simply because of timing. Um, and I believe that Rhea will go ahead and clap Charlotte's cheeks. So depending on
Right.
whichever women's title match gets the biggest push, that will headline one night.
Hmm.
And I'm hard pressed to say that Roman's not a main event on both nights because I mean, say what you want about WWE, but Roman Reigns has maintained this steady flow of energy, which you can't deny. But
Absolutely.
one of these nights has to be Cody, and one of these nights has to be Sammy in my mind. And
Hmm.
the way that you get there is either some stipulation between here and now where Sammy gets another shot, and then when it's the first night, and when he beats him, like Paul Heyman comes out with a contract, some stuff like, hey, look, it was only for one title, and then he fights Cody and loses the second time, or somewhere between now and WrestleMania, you get one of them belts off on a SmackDown with Sammy, and you just give it to the people. You say, hey, look, television, we're gonna give you this one. I need everybody to pull up. 2 weeks from now, Sammy, maybe even the SmackDown before WrestleMania, like, hey, look, Sammy, I'm not dealing with you going into WrestleMania. I gotta fight Cody. You get your match, but this is your last shot. And if you don't win, you don't get another shot as long as I'm champion.
Right.
And he takes it that way. And then you got the option for the Bloodline Civil War, where something implodes and he loses a belt somewhere in there. So you got main event Jay, you got The Rock. I don't think Solo is ready, but you gotta include him as an option to throw some stuff off. So Jesus Christ, I'm glad I'm not WWE right now. Honestly, think to yourself, when's the last time WWE's had this problem where they actually have had legitimately
Options,
issues on options of booking a storyline where they have no idea where the fuck they're going to go. It's been a decade.
It's not a bad problem to have. It's definitely not a bad problem to have. To that
Gunner?
point. Oh yeah, go ahead, Gunner. You got thoughts?
Yeah. Well, as far as he said with the whole Civil War thing, saying like, if Solo's ready yet. What do you think about it though? You guys got brothers, right?
Mm-hmm.
And in that mindset, are you gonna take your brother's side over your cousin? You gotta take that into account. If my brother was feuding with my cousin right now, I don't care how close I am with my cousin. If I'm taking
We jump the
sides,
cousin. Yeah. I've been in that situation.
Gunner, I don't know why I haven't thought about that.
We beat the shit out of the cousin and talk about it later.
I mean, granted, in all honesty, it'd probably have to be the other way around because my brother's twice my damn size. But yeah, he would be the Roman Reigns in this category, unfortunately.
I didn't think about that.
That is true.
That is a very valid option, Gunner, that I have not thought about until now.
I mean, I think it's not going to come down. He's going to think Solo's going to have his back, and when it comes down to it, he's going to be face down 1-on-3.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to
Roman is the odd man out, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy to think about. So what? So if you book that, how does it go? How do we take the belts off of Roman? Does one person get both still? Do you get them split that way?
I'm gonna go back to what Sami Zayn said to Jey Uso the week before.
Mm-hmm.
I acknowledge you.
I think they're gonna give Jey that push. I think wasn't it Jey before that Roman Reigns beat the shit out of him?
They fought. Main event Jey, bro. I mean, he made himself into main event during that time.
Bring it all the way back around from when it was Jey that Roman beat up, or was it Jimmy?
No, it was
Jey, right?
It was Jay.
Was Jey.
Bring it back full circle.
He used Jimmy to get Jey to say I quit.
Yeah. Bring it back full circle. And I feel like that'd be the best way to do it. If you're not going to give Sami Zayn that opportunity, in all honesty, that we'd have never got a reaction like that again in 10 years if he would have won.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's going to come down to Jey getting that 1-on-1 and becoming the new head of the table and doing things the right way.
But do you think that would be wow. You're telling a story angle that I have not heard yet.
Absolutely.
Solo picking his brothers, Jey becoming the head table, and they basically killing Roman off. And like, and if they kill Roman off, if I'm Roman, like I take him off air for like 6 months. I
Well,
take
Roman
him off.
was saying he
He's
wanted to go
part time
part time
anyway.
anyway.
I would take him off for 6 months. I would let him get in the gym, go do 2 or 3 movies, go tour with The Rock, and when you come back, like let Jay still be the champion. Honestly, at that point, like run Roman back and let him take the title back if he wants to. Like I love that. I actually think I like that booking. I think I want that booking now.
So I posted this in I think the Academy Discord, but it
Mhm.
was on Twitter. The Office thinks that Sammy is not WrestleMania material. Um, I don't agree, especially after the match between him and Roman.
Mhm.
I think whatever they smoking must be the good shit. But I'm curious to know what you guys just think. What you guys think?
Well, I'm gonna take the lead on this one. Is that cool with you, B?
Absolutely.
Um, I think somebody lost it in mine
And
because
look, and look, that's why I didn't mind letting Gunna go first. I was like, I know Gunna about to tell the truth right now, so let me just go ahead and get out the way.
because if they don't think he's main event material, I want them to go back and watch an Elimination Chamber
Yep.
and listen to that crowd every time Sami Zayn
Mhm.
got the upper hand. He made Roman Reigns look like he wasn't WrestleMania material,
Even
like
before
hands
that, his
down.
his intro, his fucking. Did you hear that intro?
Yes,
Old school Sammy intro where people can sing, bro. You can.
yes,
There are 2 intros right now. I would not want to come down the ring against Seth Rollins and Sami Zayn, bro. Not
right.
because the crowd energy. If your music is coming on after or you're standing in the ring, is going to kill you.
Sami Zayn with the mic, like you notice during this whole Sami Zayn Uso thing, Sami Zayn, uh, Sami Uso deal, they weren't chanting for Roman. They didn't give a shit about the Usos. They didn't care about the bloodline at all. What did you hear? What was deafening? Not even just in Canada. What was deafening in everywhere they went? Even when
Dun,
Sammy
dun,
wasn't
dun,
there.
dun, 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 dun,
Yo,
dun,
Frost got a
dun,
point.
dun, dun, dun. Also, Gunner is a genius. I can't see anything else. Okay, hold on.
Yo,
I can
Sami
see
Zayn got
her losing in a fluke manner, like a fluke roll up. I love the kind of character, but I think with the new show for Bianca, they may have. Well, yeah, and so that's another thing, Frost, too. I was like, well, both women can't lose. So if anybody had to win, I think it probably would be Bianca over Charlotte, especially because Charlotte came back on some bullshit. They know what they did with Charlotte was some bullshit, but they just wanted to position her for to either be able to do the story with either fucking Oscar or Rhea.
Charlotte is a
his
draw, man. I mean,
Charlotte is
that was a
pissing me
money
off, is
move.
what she's doing.
his Sami Zayn's rise is eerily similar to Daniel Bryan's. It
Yep.
kind of is. I didn't think about it like that, but yeah,
Yeah.
like the supreme underdog rising up, and like you know what I mean. Like he went from Sammy wasn't a threat for a while there. He wasn't,
No.
and now he's standing toe to toe with Roman Reigns. And if there wasn't interference, they would have been a wrap.
Smooth hit him with what, 2 Aluva kicks?
Right. And then after the
Two of
match
them
was over,
things.
hit him again.
Hit him with
Yeah.
it. So 3 Aluva kicks Roman had to eat.
But
Let's also give it up
but
for Roman
also,
for being
right.
for being the for being number one and fucking fucking low key really selling for Sammy too. Like those Aluva kicks looked really good.
Yeah.
Oh
So
yeah.
we all know Roman was the heel in that match, but you can't look at that match and tell me that Roman wasn't having the time of his life. Like
Mm-hmm.
Roman played his part, yes, but Buddy was having the time of his life. He was enjoying every moment of that. You could kind of see it, even though he was trying to, stay stay in character.
I mean, they both looked like they were having a great time. I mean, they
Yeah,
neither one of them got kind of sucked up into the moment. I think the match started out really well by allowing the crowd to get behind them. All the moments were so. I just like Gunner, man. I just really have to say, like, whatever you're smoking, like, let me get some because maybe I'll see something delusional because that to me looked like a main event A-list guy having a main event A-list match with another A-lister to me.
absolutely,
And WWE for far too long under Vince McMahon's control did not allow for different people to have attempts in the main event. I truly believe Sami Zayn belongs up there right now, Kevin Owens. You got your Drew McIntyres. I feel like Sheamus has worked his way back up. Big E when he comes back. Uh,
I'm not gonna
Kofi
lie
or
to you.
Xavier. Uh,
I'm not gonna lie to you. When I hear the first time I hear, "Oh, y'all want to go big,"
would go
and say
big.
that,
Just say that. Hey, listen,
I might
it
cry,
needs
bro.
honestly, it needs to be, and it needs to be in a
Agreed.
title. It needs to be in a title. It needs.
Yeah,
It don't need.
yeah,
If Big E comes back for anything other than a world title shot, I don't want it to be a tag team title shot. I don't want it to be an intercontinental title. Whoever holds a title when Big E comes back absolutely should be in his crosshairs.
absolutely,
Tell you what
absolutely.
I was waiting for was the last time the New Day was fighting uh to break before the Bloodline broke their record for longest reigning tag team champs.
Mhm.
And Solo Sikoa and Sammy came out to interfere. I was just on the edge of my seat, just waiting to hear "gonna go big." Didn't say that
Right.
because that's all I wanted.
I thought it was fixing
I
to happen
wanted Big
too.
E to come out and just
It was
thrash
fixing to happen
Solo
too.
and
Well,
just
you know,
end it.
before Big E got hurt, there was supposed to be a bunch of like trio like matchups. There was supposed to be them versus the Brutes. It was supposed to be them versus the Bloodline. It was supposed to be them versus I'm
Yeah,
missing
they were.
somebody, but Imperium. There was supposed to be all like these different trio scenarios because WWE was getting a feeler for trios titles. um, so like, man, it kind of sucked having him go down for that, and then too, like, I really feel like his title run was lackluster, but that's just because of how they played it, how they played his run out.
Hmm.
You guys, give me 1 second. I'll be right back.
Yes, sir. Rhea and Bianca got history from NXT. Asuka deserves payback after losing her streak. I mean, the matches will be good, but those, yeah, that like Frost guy. I mean, 100%. That was the set. That was the initial setup that I wanted to, and for all those reasons, Asuka did not deserve to lose to Charlotte at WrestleMania. There was nothing
No.
other than them giving Charlotte that moment for that. I mean, that woman literally had never lost a match. Literally had
Right.
never lost a match. And I don't think at that time Charlotte had built enough height to take that. And if we're being honest with you, Asuka's career never really recovered from that.
Not at all. Because it almost felt like, oh, she took this loss. Now it's okay to let her keep losing. Like,
hmm hmm
like that that whole thing was trash. Like, like I don't know if I'm more pissed about the Undertaker streak or Oscar streak. Because Oscar streak started in
In
NXT.
NXT.
Yeah,
She
like
bought that shit. I mean, I forget how long she was on the main roster
she was
before
one of the
like
only
she
people
lost.
to, in order to I think, did was she beaten for the title in NXT, or was she, or did
No,
she?
she turned that over, bro.
Right,
No,
that's what I
she's
was
the
about to
only
say.
person. Yeah,
Yeah,
she's the only person to ever have to turn the NXT title over. She did not lose the whole time she was in
right.
NXT.
So that's
Do
what I'm
you know how
saying.
much of a president you have to be for somebody to decide, you know what, you just not gonna lose.
Right, right.
You just
And
you just
they
not
turn
gonna lose.
around and shit on all that work
Mhm.
for Charlotte. Like, come
Yeah.
on.
As for Sammy, remember the last time he faced Roman for the title? He was a conspiracy theorist fighting the cast of Jackals, getting beat by Roman in 10 seconds. Now look what level he's on at. That's crazy. That is crazy to think
But
about.
Sammy has always been a slow burn. Um,
Hmm.
think about his
Hmm.
time in NXT. He was there from the beginning and didn't get. He
Took
was
KO Kane.
yeah, like he didn't get brought to the main roster for a long time. He's always they've always treated him like a slow burn, but he's always had that. Like if you look at some of the matches that he was pulling off when he was in the Indies, bro,
Hmm.
if he did half, if he did half that shit, well, see, WWE, he was pulling off moves and then that WWE just wouldn't allow here because a
Yeah,
lot of
I
that
mean
shit is unsafe.
yeah, I mean his full, but I mean his full normal move set is now alive and go. I mean he hit Roman with a fucking blue thunder bomb, bro. I about
Yes,
shit my britches. I said,
yes,
first off, Roman is really out here selling.
right,
Secondly, what?
right, right,
Sami
right.
Zayn hit Roman Reigns with a blue thunder bomb. I
Crazy,
about lost my shit.
crazy.
Um, so I just
So I want to talk about the and I waited till Gunner got back because this is where I know Gunner's gonna have a lot to say. I want to talk about the Lesnar Lashley thing. Um, First off, because they waited so long to pull the trigger on a feud for them, are they too old? Maybe like
no, but
has
they
that time
no.
passed?
No, they just got to plan out that fucking match better. I mean, both Brock and Bobby are capable of wrestling good matches. We've seen them do it with different people. Um, they like that fucking WWE 2K special finisher, bar stack up finisher shit they be doing. Bro, that I don't. They started that during the pandemic, and that shit has run amok in wrestling, and it has to die a miserable death.
Right.
Like
I agree with that.
Brock could have suplexed Bobby to hell. Bobby could have suplexed him to hell. They could have did a top rope super suplex spot. They could have did some outside stuff. We could have got a couple F5s because that normally is an MO. We could have got a Bobby Lashley dominator in a hurt lock and called it a day, or got a F5 and called it a day. We didn't need that bullshit, man. Like if they weren't gonna book if we wanted them to fight at WrestleMania, y'all should have just drug it the fuck out and gave them elimination chamber opponents or suspended them or something. But that was a waste of a match. I don't feel like they're too old, but also they did miss a premium window in which we should have had this already. To answer the question.
It's been way too long and drawn out. Like, yeah.
So
But
gonna go
my
ahead because I know
concern,
you got a lot to say.
my concern is
Uh-huh.
Brock Lesnar is a big beefy boy. Like, why end the match with him kicking another dude in the nuts? Like, why? Like, what?
That
Like, in all honesty, I was hoping it would end here. I've seen this match too many damn times play out. I just wanted it to be squashed and done with finally, so they could move on and go to their own respective careers and see who they're going to fight next. But no, you know it's not going to end with him kicking him in the nuts. You don't
Mhm.
kick a man in the nuts and just be like, all right, this feud's over. No, that guy's coming back for blood. So we know there's going to be another one.
so another thing is I think it wasn't just that he was to save him from looking so weak from feigning from being put in in basically a uh full Nelson. um the other part of that is you kick a man in the nuts and then you throw a temper tantrum afterwards like you were the one that got done wrong. Like I don't understand. Like
He was
Paula,
aiming for the shin.
I, I
That
don't
was
get
it.
it. Like
He thought his shin was waist height. He's not very good with body parts, okay?
Yeah, I thought Brock was done after he settled his beef with Roman. Brock is great, but it would have been a great time for him to just quietly go away. But he making that money, so I don't blame him. Yeah, I mean Brock got one of them Infinity Stone gauntlet contracts. So I mean,
Right.
I absolutely have nothing to say about Brock Lesnar, the content creator, because he's out here getting the bag, and that's something we all aspire to do. But also at the same time, like fuck off and stay away from the title scene. And like if you do have a rivalry, like make it work. Like I mean, I feel like he's tried really hard to make this thing with him and Bobby work, and I feel like they've both put a lot into it. But like WrestleMania should definitely be the end of it, because we know that's where it's going. That's all Elimination Chamber was to do, to get it to WrestleMania. But at this point in time, like there were a lot of great matches that Brock and Bobby could have had separately. Everybody was clamoring for Gunter Brock. Everybody was clamoring for who else against Brock? I think I seen some Omos stuff. I seen Braun Strowman getting his face back with a match against Brock. So I mean, I seen a whole bunch of different stuff. Bobby, you know what I'm saying? Bobby could be in a story angle with the new Hurt Business. I've been hearing Carmelo Hayes been having a lot of dark matches because they've been thinking about bringing him and Trick up for the new, or just him up for the new version of the Hurt Business. So, there are a lot of things that they could have did separately. They got to wrap this up at WrestleMania, though.
Yeah.
They got to.
It definitely it cannot turn into another uh Roman Reigns versus uh
Let's
Brock
not talk
Lesnar.
about it. They can't. Let's not talk about it. I feel like that's a time period in wrestling we can just all understand that it was bad and we can let it go. I try not to revisit that time period at all.
You traumatized, bro. Um,
I, I at that point in time I was only watching main event wrestling. So like if it wasn't main event, if it wasn't a pay per view, anything, like I didn't have the time for it. So like to tune into like all these consecutive like pay per views to see the same fucking match literally go out the same way, like
It's like Seth
yeah.
Rollins and uh Theory now.
yeah, like Seth Rollins had no business being in the elimination chamber. Zero,
Not at all.
absolutely.
Not at
Ford
all.
should have won that. Ford needs that push. It's been long past due.
Yep. Yeah,
That man is a star, bro. Like
yeah. Since we're
that.
there, we might as well go ahead and talk about it.
Right, right. That man is Tez, and I feel like it can be done without breaking up the tag team. Like um don't sacrifice his partner for the sake of his singles push.
Well, I
Like,
mean, they WWE only has three tag teams anyway. They can't afford to fucking split anybody anyway. Um, so I think that's definitely at the forefront, which is why they haven't pulled the trigger.
mhm,
Um, it needs to be similar to uh, uh, a new day, but
right.
this also goes with something I heard. So I heard the new version of uh, the Hurt Business could be the Street Profits, Carmelo Hayes, and Bobby Lashley.
I'm here for it. But that
That
would have been
would
something
be,
that would have been something to do while the fucking bloodline was still a thing. Like,
yeah, yeah. That would have been actually great. And honestly, that still might be great to do to help with the implosion of the bloodline. If Roman loses the titles, they're trying to hold everything together. Maybe like the Hurt Business like challenges them and they
mhm,
like lose. Somehow they like make it go to uh War Games, or I don't know. Is War Games an official pay per view, or is that going to be a stipulation match? How did they say they were going to do that?
I don't know. Um, I don't know.
Undetermined
Let's.
Frost guy. Yeah. So I would be interested, like, to maybe even do like a Hell in a Cell or War Games against them, and maybe like have them lose and let like that be the final deciding factor, and like the 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 war starting, and I really want like outside entities in the war. I want Rock in
Mm-hmm.
there somehow. If they could like bring Rikishi in, even like Sanjay Fatu and like bring him, like have like the sisters, like they got this tech, like bring in anybody that's got family ties, and they don't necessarily have to be signed to it, but just like make it a thing. Like The Rock calls like a meeting, like Roman has failed us, like the whole family comes together and like send it.
All
Because
right,
technically
so
this is wrestling's first family. Ooh, and WWE is on record and trying to get Tama Tonga and Tanga Loa
mhm.
too from their relationship with Impact, which would have helped with a bloodline war.
So I agree with that, but here's my thing. I feel
Mm,
like we as wrestling fans, we want that one last match from Dwayne.
I
But
don't,
I do.
but
but
I don't
if we get him,
if so I feel like no matter what he says, WWE is on the back burner, bro. Like it he's good at talking and telling us he's gonna do this, that, and the other. But that's not that's not where that's not where it's if I can make it work and it's not at all an inconvenience to me, then maybe I'll do it. But that's not something. If we're being honest about it, that's not something that he's. I don't even think he's interested in. I think
I
I
don't know.
mean, and rightfully so. I mean, he's I believe still the highest paid actor in the business right now.
And he's running the
Yep,
XFL. So
yep.
Right?
I guess
Why would I?
Which is doing wonderful, might I add.
Like why would I sacrifice my status and my big check for
The
because
little chick.
if he fucks around and get hurt in the ring, that means that he has to sit out for recovery time, possibly uh, uh, um, rehabilitation. That means that whatever movie projects that he was gonna take, that he wouldn't be able to take those, or he would have to accept a smaller fee, because at this point he's damaged goods, and they don't know if maybe he gets hurt again because he's hurt now. He's injury prone. Maybe he gets hurt again in this next in this next stunt. So I get it. So I'm not really any plans that I think that would go through with the bloodline. I think I'm pretty set that like they're not gonna include the Rock.
Yeah.
but listen, I just want to put this out there that I don't care how old he is. I'm pretty sure that motherfucker is still stronger than 90% of the roster. I mean, that's
Hmm.
one guy you don't want to run into in a dark alley. Like
Yeah.
if he's coming after you, just lay down and die. That's it. That's all you're gonna do.
Mhm.
So when we're talking about like Brock Lesnar uh and Lashley, right? Um, what we saw Friday before the pay-per-view was Bray Wyatt basically say, whoever wins the match, you need to run.
Mhm.
But where was he?
Right, like that would have been that would have been a better angle to go for than because they could have used that to introduce the Wyatt Six.
Once again, I have no idea what WWE is doing with their booking. I don't know if the Y6 is a thing.
Well, it's on
I
his Twitter.
don't I
It's on
don't
his Twitter handle.
Yeah, that listen, they look. If there's one thing we know about
Bray Wyatt.
Wyndham is
Yeah.
that he if it's a curve, he gonna have it. Um, so until I can see it, like I try not to even speak on Bray Wyatt. Unless I see it, just leave it alone. Because I feel like he is one of the true artists still left in the game that's been allowed actually the opportunity to express his art. I feel like Matt Hardy, he in booking hell right now. So, but he's one. Bray Wyatt is another. I feel like Kazuchika Okada is still allowed to tell like a lot of stories through his booking, but a very few people are allowed to have that creative freedom.
Right.
So like I'm excited to see what he's gonna do. I know he said he still got to work out angle with Alexa. And I know she's not in any immediate plans for anything, so I'm interested to see what they're gonna do with her too. I feel like Bo is in there somewhere. There's just no way he comes back without putting his brother on. What the rest of them end up being, I don't know. Have we seen LA Knight since his match with LA Knight? No, we haven't seen him, have we?
No.
So you got LA Knight as a potential angle. I feel like anybody he fights or has fought also comes up as an option, for that group too. It is irksome, Frost guy. That's why I'm not. I only that's what, like I said, I'm not speaking on it. I'm not speaking on any of it until it comes to fruition. So we'll see.
I'm now that you bring him up, I am interested to see what they do with LA Knight's character. Because he is kind of like his character is kind of like a love child between The Rock and Stone Cold.
I was about to say definitely Stone Cold. His whole
So like it kind of gives you that whole 90s feel. I just don't know where it would go. I'm hoping that they do right by him because we all know there's one name that I would love to see come back to WWE because I feel like now that Triple H has the helm, there's a spot for him and they were doing real well, and that's Keith Lee.
He just came back.
We'll be talking about him in AEW on the AEW part of this. Trust me.
Yeah.
So there was a match between Shotzi and Ronda. Well, Ronda and Baszler, and then Shotzi. And I forget who it was, to be honest. Natalia. Yeah, you're right. You're right. You're right. Ronda. I don't understand how you be in the business this long. You've been
I have no
wrestling for
comment on
this.
Ronda Rousey.
You've been
I have
in
no
business
comment.
for this long, and you still sloppy. Like I don't understand. Like she almost killed herself there.
I almost feel like I got to go pour another drink since you're talking about Ronda.
Like she almost
I
killed
have no
herself.
comment.
She literally landed on her head because she didn't tuck. Like I don't understand. Like she thought that this was gonna save her. I don't
No
get
comment.
it.
She was trying to land like a Dragon Ball Z character after getting drop kicked out the air. It happens, okay?
Okay. So from here on out, we're just gonna call her Krillin. Um,
I was gonna go Yamcha, but we can go up a level.
Shit, nah, I
where
call
where
it
would
fucking
you where would
10.
you like to see Gunther and the Imperium like go from here?
Well, I mean, Gunther's a made man. I think
Yeah.
that's been verified. Imperium has a pretty good ranking in the tag team division. They're gonna kind of go as Das Walter goes, Das General. But yeah, they'll I foresee potentially maybe a tag team title reign in there if Gunther makes a push for any title. I think Gunther did everything he needed to do. He moved to America. He lost the weight. He acclimated his wrestling style to be able to wrestle on the main roster. He did the things he needed to do. You know what I'm saying? So I'm happy for him. I do miss Dash Ring General though, and
Yeah,
I would love to hear that intro and to hear Das Walter and not Gunta, but
yeah.
you know, it is what it is.
The whole uh dodging around and them watching like from the rafters, just kind of like lurking until
Mhm.
you know what I mean. Like the presence that they had. I miss the presence that they had in NXT. Um,
I think everything is kind of magnetized in NXT because it's so personable,
hmm
and you don't get you like. I don't think. Well, it's more done now. The attention to detail of storytelling was different in NXT when Triple H was over the helm. You know, he controlled everything, so he made sure to sell every little small nuance.
right.
And we got used to seeing that, and so we're seeing some of that on the main scene. But you know, you talking about years of bad habits that he's gonna have to work out, and all of
Right.
those are not gonna get done. Yeah, we're still what in our first year of a AAA train. We're not even
hmm
a year into this thing. So super
Rome was
surprised
not
at what
built in a day.
yeah,
Well,
super surprised at what he's been able to do. So far, but also so much room left over.
I'm on the opposite side of the fence with Gunther. Uh,
Hmm.
I feel like, I like what they're doing with him now better than I did when he was the ring general. I feel like he has a strong possibility, a strong promise at least for them to do something great with him, considering his streak right now. We haven't had a streak. They have the chance to make this streak something similar to what we had when The Undertaker had his undefeated streak in WrestleMania. They need something big like that. So down the line, they have something to help push somebody over. I think they're booking him right because, I mean, he's not going to be there forever. I mean, so eventually, with this streak behind him getting that momentum and that push, it has a chance to take one of these wrestlers who are really good, who need that push and stardom to be able to overtake that streak and push them to the top. And I think that's the best
Montez
thing they
Ford.
could do.
Montez Ford.
Perfect example.
Bro, as soon as you said that, I was like, is he leading to a Montez Ford story where Gunter then runs for a world title? That's crazy. I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah, that's
Who said this man? Who said this man Gunner was a genius over here? Who said that in the chat? I need to validate you really quickly. Thank you so much, Frost guy. Thank you so much. Uh,
um, so one thing that
uh,
stood out to me in the women's chamber match, um, Nikki Cross was having the absolute time of her life. Like, like she didn't care about shit. The match didn't mean nothing. She was just in there having fun, like causing chaos. It she plays. I am so glad that she's back to like the Nikki Cross of it all,
And not the ASH. Yeah.
yeah.
bro.
There either needs to be a women mid card title, or they need to figure out something to fucking do those tag team titles, because Nikki Cross deserves either a mid card title or a tag team title reign. I feel like, and as the Nikki Cross character, like her partner would need to coincide with that, but like this is her character once she's developed over her time from NXT,
hmm
kind of stepping outside of that role multiple times on the main roster and then coming back to it. And I really believe like hitting it home. There's no way she's not in every elimination chamber for the remainder of her time because
Right.
it's how chaotic she is.
She's
And then you can
she's the
put
female version, in my opinion, or has the potential to be the female version of Joe. Like the whole like stalking your prey, causing chaos. Joe's gonna kill
Okay.
you. Like,
Kana's gonna kill you, but yes. They're only you can only say that to two people, Kana and Joe. Ain't nobody else getting them chance. When you give them away, you giving away Mystique and Aura. So I have to be like,
well,
I gotta draw a
I
line
mean,
right here.
they were
That's
saying that
Kana's gonna
Oscar
kill
was gonna
you.
kill
That's
you too,
Joe's gonna.
though.
That's Oscar, but yeah, but it was Kana then. You know what I'm saying? It was
Yeah,
like it was Oscar, but that was a different woman. That see this Oscar smile. Kana ain't smile.
right.
Kana
Yeah,
killed you. Let's see here. Mela hasn't. Oh no, I'm not even reading that
yeah.
sentence. You said something about Mela. Um,
No, I
should have
like
a woman.
Nikki. I've liked Nikki since sorry, I mean to cut you off, bro. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. I was just reading what they're putting in the chat. Go ahead.
I've liked
Love you too,
Nikki since
Slim.
the
Appreciate the
NXT
lurk, bro.
days when she was with Sanity, which was a faction that had a lot of potential. I don't know why they split them up and did what they did, but
It's
it goes to a lot of the guys who were in NXT back then. But yeah, no, Nikki Cross was just somebody you wanted to see. You know, she wasn't 910 wasn't going to win, but you wanted to see what type of hell she was going to wreak in that ring.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Even backstage, just they're like, "Oh, you guys ready for your match?" And as soon as they all leave, bam, there goes Nikki Cross busting out of a locker, growling at the camera, and just darting off into the shower room. Like, okay, there's Nikki Cross.
Yeah, but yeah, Nick, there's a lot of potential there, and I'm glad that she's back to the character that she seems to be more comfortable in. Edge, do we need him? Is he is he necessary? Like I understand that now don't get me wrong. For the time that he was there, like I was crushed and heartbroken when injuries made him retire. I was. But this Edge is not that Edge. Like, you know what I
No,
mean? Like and don't get me wrong. I cannot sit here and say that he has not put on decent matches since he has returned. Some of the things that he did with like um Randy Orton, um it it's cool, but he's missing what he had uh prior to leaving, in my opinion.
I feel like when he came back, his feud with Seth Rollins,
Mhm.
he ran for what, like 6 months with that feud,
Mhm.
3 months, something like that. I feel
Mhm.
like it should have ended there, and that should have just been his walking away point. Because let's be honest, yes, you were out of the ring for 11 years. You came back to do what you love. But at the same time, I don't feel like he can necessarily keep up like he used to. He
Mm.
definitely can't move like he used to. 11 years of not being able to do anything. You don't come back from that. You don't.
Right.
We're
That's
never
true.
going to get the edge we used to see who would spear somebody off a ladder and
You're
then
never gonna
instantly
get the
pop back
real
up on his
rated R
feet
superstar. Yeah.
and tackle somebody through a burning table immediately after. Like, we're never going to get that crazy
Never.
dude that we remembered and loved. And unfortunately, this is what we're going to remember him by instead of remembering that. Is the
Right.
more he pushes, this is what we're going to remember. And it sucks.
I don't want him to turn into, dare I say it, the Ric Flair of it all.
Yeah.
Um, because that would just be uh that would be heartbreaking. I'm assuming since Be Nice got up and walked away, he, he don't care for the current topic. Um,
It's not even that I don't care about the current topic. I believe that the Seth Rollins thing,
Uh-huh.
like Gunner, should have ended it. I really feel like that was a very great written story. The shit they did in Canada, looping in the kids and the family, was fucking beautiful. Um, and I think we should have like called it a GG's there. Um, at this point in his career, Edge is only going to be putting people over.
Mhm.
So, we're not gonna get that historic run. There's nobody that Edge can have a story with right now that you can say for sure he's gonna beat them, because all the people that you would line him up with, he should be going over right now. Randy, Seth, I mean, the Finn. If we do get Finn and get Demon Finn at WrestleMania, that's definitely should be the nail in the coffin. I do have some different words for Beth though. Beth is out here looking fucking awesome.
Yes.
If Beth wanted to team up with Natty and form a Canadian tag team that I think that the women's tag team division needs, I would be here for it. If Beth decided she wanted to help put like Rhea or Asuka or Bianca or whoever the champions are afterwards over, I truly believe that Lita and Trish probably, if the women did like a tag team tournament, that Lita and Trish could come together, or a combination of the Glamazon and one of them, or Trish, a Canadian connection could do something. Um, but like I've been really impressed by Beth, because she just like, that woman did not age at all. Whereas that her husband was out by choice, Beth just was taking care of the kids, working for WWE and chilling.
Mhm.
Um, I believe Edge should go out the way he came in. He worked 11 years to get back to this point. Finn should absolutely end him. He's at this place in space as a wrestler where he knows that's kind of his fate. And we just seen that with Great Muda today. Having his last match. Just that's the route that they normally travel. So,
Right.
do I care? No. No.
And then there's that. Yeah, there's that. And to your point, I would like to see them do something with like maybe Beth and Natty. Um, because I feel like facts are facts. How many more years does Natty have realistically? Um,
-7. Because her tits are the only thing keeping her in at this point. I mean, Natty's a great trainer. Don't get me wrong, but like,
Man, I said her tits are the only thing keeping her.
she wrestles a boring match, man. Like, she wrestles a boring fucking match. Now, granted, like, I like a high flying, high style. I like a Japanese hard style, a UK hard style match. Like, so I don't like traditional American wrestling. But when I do watch a traditional American wrestling match, I know what to look for and what to expect.
hmm
Uh, and all the reasons that I hate Charlotte Flair wrestles a phenomenal match. For all the reasons I hate Becky Lynch, her skill set, I believe it is not the best. She tells a great fucking story. You can never take that away from any of them. Natalia, just for all the moves and like the nuances she tries to add to her skill set, it just doesn't. I can't give you one Natalia match that I was like over
I
the
feel
top
like
with.
Yeah,
I
that's
feel like it's more of a family thing. You know,
right.
you gotta think. She's the last of the Hart
Uh,
family, I think, that's still in it that I know of.
yeah. Well, yeah. Well, who is it? Such and somebody. Brett's kids are running a promotion in Canada right now, so none of them wrestle. So Natty literally is the last of the Hart foundation that is actively wrestling, because
And
her husband got hurt, and nobody else is doing it.
so to that point, like with Charlotte Flair. We know that she's Ric Flair's daughter, but WWE does not all the time mention all the time that, oh, that's Ric Flair's daughter, the bloodline. Every single time Natty hits the ring, without fail, they mention the Hart family, the Hart Foundation, the the lineage.
It's her
Um,
lifeblood. It's literally kept her relevant. It's
right,
literally, Charlotte can stand firm on her own two toes. That is not the case
Whether
with
you like
Natty.
her, whether you like Charlotte or hate her, Charlotte made a name for herself. Like she could stand,
Hmm.
even if she wasn't a Flair.
Yep.
She has that skill.
Hmm. She can talk.
right,
You know, Natty, in an all intents purposes, is about middle level on all characters wrestling. She's about middle level with the mic. She's about middle level with the wrestling. Ring gear always, looks superb. Thank God for that. But everything else is pretty basic. And I'm gonna be honest with you, that would be the main reasons why she hadn't had any of these title runs. I mean,
that's true.
even in a women's lackluster tag team division, like Natty should have been like some 7, 8 time fucking tag team champion with whoever, and still ain't worked that out. So like for me, the all the signs are there for her time to be.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I agree. While we're talking about who is people that are being ready, and then people that need to be on their way out, and I feel like I know the answer to this. Is Raquel ready?
Gunner, do you want to go first, or would you like for me?
I couldn't really tell you in all honesty. I haven't really paid that much attention to Raquel. It hasn't one of those wrestlers that really caught my attention just yet.
Mhm.
But again, I don't really watch NXT, so I don't know what she was like over there. I stopped watching NXT about a year ago.
Mhm. What are we talking about in the ready in the sense of a title run or just being in the main event scene? The
Being
women's
in the main event
because
scene, because
the
she's
the
definitely, I
women's
don't think, ready for a title run.
so she's in SmackDown. I mean, her build allows for her to be there. Talking wise, no, it's just not there yet. But I mean, match wise, she's still very green.
Hmm.
Um, but I mean, the women are trying to build what I do, trying to build a mid card and a main event scene. And so SmackDown, we have. Well, I mean, Rhea wasn't even on SmackDown. Rhea's going to challenge Charlotte, so Rhea's not over there. So you got Charlotte, you got Ronda, you got Shayna, you got was Natalia over there, and then you got Chauncey, and then you got Raquel. So by default, she should be hovering around it because then you got like Xia Li and Carmella and Lacey, like people like that afterwards. So, I mean, I definitely feel like her stock is higher than those people.
So only because of the
Um,
lack of talent, it was what you're saying.
yeah, I mean, they just haven't been. I mean, WWE, I feel has more talent than AEW's women, but neither one of them have done a great job of building women outside of the main event. AEW being worse, but WWE still needing that time. That's why I said like honestly, with those women's tag team titles, if you ain't in a main event, you in a women's tag team. For me, if I'm WWE, if you're period, or you're in a faction of three of y'all, so we can figure out how we want to do. They don't apply those same rules for women as they do for men. Like if you can't figure it out, y'all gonna be in a faction or a tag team. If one of y'all start to stand out, then we can break y'all up then. But like there should be 8 women's tag teams fighting each other across 2 promotions. I mean, 2 brands. And hell, if I'm being honest, fucking unify them women's NXT titles and the women's fight for tag teams across NXT, SmackDown, and Raw, because ain't enough of them.
So Sims asked, do we feel that The Rock's daughter will be treated more like Charlotte or more like Natty? Um, when it is her time to make that main roster debut. And I feel like maybe it's gonna be more of the Charlotte side only because she has been adamant about, like, part of her character is not giving a shit about her lineage. Uh, uh, um, but also to be nice's point, I get it because her dad came up in like this. When he came in, he was a part of you know a faction, but her dad's faction isn't the schism. I don't know what the fuck the schism is. I don't know what the hell the schism is. I feel like that was a really bad move. The name is stupid. It it's
I don't know
just
what prompted Gunner to stop watching NXT, but I'm gonna go ahead and go out on a limb and say this might be one of the reasons. Because NXT after Vince kind of pushed Triple H out was just really bad to watch, and I mean it's recovered some, but I no comment.
fair enough. Fair enough. You got anything, got it.
Uh, about The Rock's daughter, I mean, it all depends on her. I feel like the way she's gonna get treated, at least fan wise, it's gonna depend on her skill level when she gets in. In all honesty, if she's a natural like Charlotte Flair is, she's gonna get that same push and treatment because she's a natural and she has that lineage. But if she winds up wrestling like a mid Carter, she's gonna wind up eventually being treated like the Natty does. That's just my opinion.
And I think that's part of the reason why we haven't seen her wrestle is because everybody is expecting something, and I don't think she feels like she can deliver that. And so, um, but what she may not realize is like her dad didn't start off that way. People hated that man. Like the
Yep.
reason why the people's elbow exists is because he couldn't throw an elbow with the other hand. like, like he was just he he wrestled like I say I make videos. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I get lucky finding shit and I can make shit look good.
She got me beat both there because I don't know what the fuck I'm doing and I can't make it look good.
So, like I just she's gonna have to do she's gonna have to jump at some point. She's gonna have to show us what she's got. She's still in they're still training her. They didn't release her when they released all these other people. So she clearly has to have something. Unless they're doing it unless they're keeping her because she's the Rock's daughter. But at some point, even that's gonna wear thin. Like you're gonna want a return on that investment. uh, but you know, it is what it is. I don't know. We have like Be Nice said, we ain't seen nothing yet. We seen some snippets of training, and we saw the Rock show up and give like this pretty speech at the performance center, and that's it. And then she showed up out of fucking nowhere and join this no no name, no nothing faction called the Schism that seems to be directionless. So
Maidenless.
Hello, guys. I'll be right
so
back again. I'm sorry.
no, not a
Yes, sir.
problem.
You good.
So I don't know. I don't really have any any thoughts really on her. I I, I know that she's there. I know that she's training, and I
No
know that
comment.
I think she wrestled maybe some dark matches, but we don't get to see those.
Yeah.
Um,
No comment. Zero. There's nothing. We
so
have nothing to say.
my last note on WWE wrestling
Hmm.
is the Bronson Reed of it all. What are we thinking about Bronson Reed? He's a monster in the ring, and he showed us a little something in the chamber. But my issue is it more of the same big, I'm a monster, everybody lay down, or is there something there?
For me, I believe that there's something there. It's just how WWE is gonna tell the story. You gotta, for me, I look at somebody who's in New Japan, who got the nod from New Japan to be Kazuchika Okada in
Right,
the G1 Classic. That ain't nothing to fucking laugh at.
right.
That was big. I also see that they split him away from Miz immediately. I think that was also another wonderful idea. And I believe that he has the ability to go be a really good heel mid card champion. And then he has the potential to be a babyface deterrent, and maybe, depending if they see him down the line, somebody who could potentially look at holding the title. But will he need a mouthpiece? Will he be able to talk? These are things
These are
that
the things we don't
will,
know. Yeah.
yeah, these are the things we don't know, and we're gonna kind of need to know ahead of time. So we'll kind of see. We'll kind of see on how that goes moving forward. But that's
So
kind of how I feel about him. I feel like there's potential there.
we were talking about Bronson Reed.
I was listening. I had to pick a bunch of cards I knocked over.
You got any thoughts on Bronson?
Uh, Not really. Nothing I can really contribute to that hasn't already been said.
So um, we are actually ready for the AEW of it all. If you're ready to give your, because that was my last note in
All
WWE.
right.
Hmm.
Let's start off with the bombshell then. If you guys have
And
been
what is it?
following, you know about the whole Keith Lee getting his head stomped into a cinder block, and his return when Swerve Strickland and for the life of me I cannot remember the team's name.
The money moguls.
Yeah, the moguls
Yeah. Mogul
were
affiliates, whatever.
yeah,
Yeah, it's the name is desirable,
when
but
when they were jumping Dustin Rhodes,
Dustin.
which I got to give Dustin Rhodes credit for that because that dude, as old as he is, he can still wrestle.
Fucking doing destroyers like he's fucking life depends on it too. This
Yeah.
is wild.
Right.
But when they were jumping him and Keith Lee showed up behind him, the only thing that went through my mind was that song "Dumb Ways to Die."
No shit. Yeah.
But yeah, what is your guys' opinion on? I mean, I know AEW's doing a shit job of booking the storylines and crap, but on the return of Keith Lee, like I felt like that was something that popped.
Keith Lee's gonna get a pop. Like it's Keith Lee. Like shit, you could book him. I mean, WWE did book him as what they started calling him, the what bear?
Bobcat, and it was fucking.
The
And I don't even know. I don't even Bearcat, and I don't even know why we having this part of the conversation that has nothing to do with this. That is also something that we have put in the back of our mind and forgot it has happened. Okay, the great Keith Lee does not need to be traversed down traumatic situations. Okay, we can.
He had to go through therapy after that, Kenny.
Yeah,
Therapy.
right, you know what I'm saying, that might have actually led to his COVID scare. That you know what I'm saying, like, because that whole thing was wild to me. Was wild, wild.
like
Um, I I'm not moved by the story because it's a lose lose.
yeah,
You're pushing Isaiah Swerve Scott is this new ferocious heel with this new ferocious tag team of guys that have never really wrestled. They just have a look. With a Rick Ross cosign, what that really does, I don't know. But you bring Keith Lee back and you put him in a program with them. Okay, so they're a fresh heel act. Do they lose? Because Keith is coming back. Keith can't lose. He just came back. Or do you then have Keith lose and he just came back? So like it just doesn't
yeah.
it doesn't it doesn't really do it for me. There I don't feel like Keith's story was ever really told right coming in. I feel like Isaiah Swerve Scott has gotten a very big green light and have made some progressions in him, but I feel like you should move Keith away. Keith should have had at least an opportunity to take a shot at maybe like a heel CM Punk in between there. Um,
I agree with that.
but I know how that kind of got watered down. Um, you could have sent a face Keith Lee at a heel MJF. Um, did Gunner let in with this, and like I'm glad he got it out the way. I'm an AEW fan. You know, I'm a fan of alternative outside of WWE, but AEW is doing a shit job at stories right now. And I don't know if it's because Tony's got his wrestling dick spread all over the internet and he just has his business and everybody else's instead of focusing on home. But like,
I
bro,
think
you have some of the best wrestlers in the world and some of the best collabs that you could have in the world with AAA and New Japan, and you fucking don't fucking say WWE's name, bro. Don't just leave it the fuck out of your mouth. Like, just don't
yeah.
do that. Focus on what you're supposed to focus on. Like if AAA says something, let Trip do that. They are a $1 billion corporate business. You
Mhm.
have no fucking business with their name in their mouth. You're not WCW. Don't. This never was a war. It's not a war. Stop it. You're not even in the same financial stratosphere to have that conversation.
Where's my goddamn? Stop it. Get some help. I don't. uh, so
And
so
I'm an AEW fan, right?
no,
I'm
don't get me
saying
wrong.
all this as a
I
fan.
love. So competition breeds. Competition is always good.
Mm-hmm.
Problem is, you presented an alternative model that basically says my wrestlers are going to tell their own stories, and all creative is going to do is try and figure out how to make that make sense. And for a while, it was okay.
It worked.
But I think it was okay because we were so it not to get political, but it was the the same thing of how Trump won. People were so desperate for a change because they don't maybe not understand how. shit works. People were so desperate for a change that any change was good. That don't work in wrestling.
Nope.
That does not work in wrestling. It you you need creative. Now, if a wrestler comes to me and says, "Hey, I got this idea. I want to run it like this," you can use that, but don't just give wrestlers free reign to tell their own stories. And and it was evident. It started being evident because people were cutting promos that the person that the promo was getting cut about had no
Mhm.
fucking clue
Zero.
that
Zero.
this was happening. Like that should never be a thing. Like say what you
I
want about
mean,
WWE, but how often do backstage fights happen in WWE that are publicized?
yeah, well, publicized too, you know. So I think in a lot of wrestling shows, there are a lot of, backstage
Yeah,
heat that
but
may necessarily hit.
true. But WWE is loud and proud about that shit. Like,
Mm.
I mean, not WWE. AEW is loud and proud about that shit. Like, that is the equivalent of fighting it at your workplace, fighting at your job. You know what I mean? Like,
Mm.
it, it shouldn't happen, bro. Like, and yes, it was cool that you let them have the reins, but at some point, you gotta get control, and you should have started out of the gate with it. Now, I think he's in a situation where uh he feels like if he pulls the reins too tight, then they might leave. Because he was offering more money, but from what I can see, the contracts seem to be open. Like they pretty like in the contracts, they seem to be able to do whatever the hell they want.
Which for me is wild because how do you program that? How do you set up? I think
And
that's
that's the
where a
problem. You
majority of
can't.
these story programs are coming into play when you have a goddamn motherfucker like Rusev who ain't had a match coming up on what 9 months, bro.
Bro, that's
Like
crazy.
that's wild to me. And then like the fact that there seems to be no real story on Jade Cargill and how that's gonna wrap up or if it's gonna wrap up. And I know Chris Statlander was supposed to beat her like 2 times, but like she got hurt and there's nothing outside the women's main title. The mid card has been stagnant as fuck. Like there's so many like different directions we can go with AEW, just
The ship
not
is
getting it.
burning, bro. Like,
And it's not even the ship is burning. I think Tony just refuses to allow others to help him. Tony just like they're legit wrestling experts out here who could help him in cleaning this up. And I think WWE does a really good job of making sure they have people on places. But TK to me is that kid who wanted to start something and his daddy gave him all the money to do it and he wants to run it his way or no way at all, which
I
is
can
why
see
the
that.
EPs have lost their kind of say so and why he out here making stupid comments in the news to like that Awani shit
Yeah.
that's dead. That's
Wow.
stupid and dead
Wow.
that you would say something about a pivotal figure in the community who basically was putting y'all on Front Street when y'all were coming in and like so I have a lot of frustration with AEW. I have not expressed them, be honest with you. Like, definitely have started watching less. I would at least, rewatch Dynamite and Rampage at some point the following week, but I don't think I've done that honestly since CM Punk first got there. Like, that might have been the hypest
Yeah.
I've been. Also, for me, it's very clear that like the diversity is lacking in AEW too. Like the main card scene has nobody that looks like me. The tag team division had the acclaim, top flight now. You also got top flight and AR Fox and the trios. If we count all of our Melanin brothers, we got, you know what I'm saying, Penta Oscuro and Ray Phoenix. And then Jay Carlisle with the TBS title, and that's it. I mean, even just to have some more of us in the card pictures or just in pictures, period,
Mhm.
would be a good balance. WWE, I feel like made this conservative push during the pandemic
Mhm.
and have ran a really good job of balancing diversity across the title picture, across the presentation of what they've been putting out. And AEW absolutely is deplorable at it.
I like it. I can agree. I can agree.
Well, on to the what you're talking about with CM Punk. You haven't watched it since then. I really watched it, like you said, it was the following week. But I have it on here. Let me pull up my notes because hard to
He
remember
said
the numbers.
it's time to get to the business of the facts.
Uh, their ratings
Whew.
have dropped. They had the lowest point in history last week. They went from when CM Punk's debut, that episode itself had 1,129,000 views. And as of the 17th, they had the all time low of 287,000. And that's it.
Sheesh.
Like,
That's not even enough for network TV. That's
and
crazy.
to make it
That's a
worse,
YouTube series.
Right.
the the final four, the last four episodes have dropped dramatically. It went from 458,000 4 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, 406,000, 3 weeks ago, 375,000, and now we're down to 287. If this keeps dropping, how much longer do you think AEW is even going to be on the air?
Well, it, they're gonna get pulled if if it keeps going this way because the
I,
object of the game is make money, right? Like we we know that TV is a business, and that's not.
well, yeah, I mean, so let's talk about this. So, right, as far as making money, they're gonna make money, right? WWE's wrote this model. They have TV deals, right? They have TV deals. They're gonna make money as long as they're on and people are tuning in the show. They're going. They are still making revenue. Now, whether or not they're making enough revenue to stay past their deal, that is going to be where the conversation happens.
Right. Right.
And I believe 2024 is that the contract year. That's what we're looking at. So we're looking to see if AEW is going to get another deal. I know they have some other things they're trying to do with ROH. And I know that the views don't necessarily make or break, wrestling companies making money anymore. But as Gunnar mentioned, like men lie, women lie, numbers don't. And
Right.
people are not tuning into the product.
Right.
And whether it's because of the things that I said or the things that maybe Kenny, you or Gunnar may have said, there is clearly something
Something wrong.
afoot.
Right.
So they gotta. I don't know if you go back to the first year AEW's open and you just rinse, repeat that playbook, or you go get bookers, or you hire half a W. I don't know what the fuck you decide to do, but like something needs to be fixed. And I don't think it's necessarily bringing everybody from New Japan, bringing everybody in for Forbidden Door. Like you got a bloated ass fucking roster. Um, Thank you so much, Melanin Espresso. We appreciate you. Appreciate you so much.
Absolutely.
Um, Yeah, whether or not they decide to like let some people go or like decide they want to go with women tag team titles, which I absolutely believe they should do. But also AEW's got a fuck ton of titles for a promotion that ain't nowhere close as big as AEW. I mean WWE. So they just got to get better at storytelling. You know, the
Yeah,
thing we've
this
been
is
talking
true.
about the whole
This
time.
is true. This is definitely true. It you have to have something that bring that keeps people's attention. Um, and with these types of companies, consistency is key. Like, don't introduce a vibe that you can't maintain. Like it.
And do y'all feel like do y'all feel like they've done that, like because AEW has put out a certain product that they are not either maintaining that anymore
Absolutely,
or they're not trying to?
absolutely.
I
Like,
mean, it started off good. It did. They had story going. It was going great. And now one week, we'll have one team fighting. We'll have, let's say, for instance, the Acclaim talking trash on one team, and then the next week they're talking trash on somebody else. There's no consistency there anymore. It's like, so when they roll out a pay per view, you don't really care about the matches because there's nothing to make you care anymore, and it sucks. There was a point when AEW first started where there was that build up.
hmm
Yeah, you did make a good point pointing out because the Acclaim FTR guns like little triangle. We thought we were gonna get Acclaim FTR, and then we end up getting guns Acclaim. Guns take title off Acclaim. And so I guess we're gonna get a run back, but then where the fuck is FTR at? FTR is supposed to be the best tag team in the world. They ain't even fucking have the AEW titles when they had all the other titles. Like that didn't. Like I understand us wanting to push, other tag teams, but how does it fucking make sense that you got the best tag team in the world and they don't got your fucking brand's fucking tag team titles?
Right.
Um,
This is
like
true.
I like when they won the IWGP titles and they had the AAA titles and the Impact titles. I was just sitting here. I was like, "Oh, this is a shoo-in. Like, go ahead and bring them AEW titles here so they can, I could see it now. Bell Collectors, best tag team in the world." And I was just like, "Oh, they lost a chance to win the AEW titles again." But they have all these other titles. So what does that say about the best tag team in the world not having their own brand's tag team titles? Usos are clearly the best tag team in WWE. You know why? Because they got both
Both,
sets
both
of tag team titles. There's nothing you could say to them because they have them both.
undisputed.
Um, I like there are clear, logical, like wrestling decisions you would make as an AEW booker, and Tony doesn't make them. So I am very concerned about the booking AEW if Tony Khan remains the main booker. Now, if he remains the main booker, put somebody in charge of ROH, put somebody in charge of staff, and so he's only focusing on booking. Yes, but right now, Tony is Kenny running the show. He's Be Nice and Gunner on the show. He's doing post show, and it's too much Tony Khan, bro. It's
Right.
too like all the things you can say about Vince. Vince was in one story max at any given point in time. You can
hmm
see Tony all over this fucking episode, and I'm just like, bro,
And
I don't
he
want you.
wasn't doing all this shit himself. He maybe was managing the people that were doing it, but he
hmm
wasn't doing it all himself. Like,
hmm
bro, you hired people. Trust your people.
He don't. He doesn't. And that's the sad part about it. Like he should the EP should have never been in a position of powers because they're active wrestlers.
Right.
Like
I agree with that
didn't make
100%.
that didn't make sense to me. And then not coming back to clean that up. Like you tried to clean that up as Cody was leaving, but like you should have hired people and put them in the places to make that work. I just don't feel like he has the support system. And I mean, he has the people to do it. Like, I know Dean Malenko got sick, but like having people like Dean Malenko, having people like you had William Regal, I think it's Scotty Too Hotty was out there doing some stuff for him too. Like all the people WWE let loose. I know some people from like the What Culture Wrestling, Defiant Wrestling. There were so many people out there. They could have went out there and got to help with mainstreaming what they was doing, but he hasn't.
It's sad because like the blueprint is there. You just refuse to follow it because you're so you're so anti WWE that you want to do everything the opposite way. And
To the
there are
point where it
reasons
makes you
that
lose still.
WWE does what they do. Like it's tried and tested, and they figured out that this is what works.
Through and through every time. Gunnar, what do you like about AEW so far?
The things I love about AEW are their talent. When you watch a good match, they have an amazing match. There's no disappointment. There's no predicting what is going to happen during a match. Where WWE, things tend to get a little predictable. In AEW, I can never guess what's going to happen. Besides for MJF hitting somebody with a ring.
Facts.
MJF is probably the best thing that they have over there on the men's side. Like MJF on AEW.
Don't you lie to the internet.
Yeah, don't do that.
Don't you lie to the
Like
internet.
his promos, bro. Like
No. I'm not saying that MJF isn't fire, but don't you lie to the internet saying that MJF is the only thing in AEW.
no. I said no. I said that MJF is the best thing right now on the men's side of AEW. As far as if we're talking about total package, um, can be a presence and tell a story in the ring, as well as cut a decent promo.
I need to go change my shirt. I'll be right back.
The Acclaimed have arrived.
Right. If I had an Acclaim shirt, I'd definitely be putting on that Acclaim shirt. But the fact that you saying that one Maxwell Jacob Freeman.
Jacob Freeman.
Yeah, no, I gotta go change my shirt on that one.
I said it. God damn
My
it.
personal
I said
opinion, Moxley, you got people like Jericho who could still cut a promo and have you dying the whole time. Watch Jericho's promos and keep a straight face. That man, and he can still keep up at his age. Once again, another guy that's just like, dude, how are you still doing lion salts off the
bro?
road?
Thank you. How is this man still doing lion salts?
That shit is wild.
Dude, you look like you had hip replacements already, and you're still doing lion salts. No, fuck that, Jericho.
Yeah, but he's still doing lion salts. How old is he now?
God, I don't even know. Let me fact check that. Hey Siri, how old is Chris Jericho? 52.
No,
52 years old.
Out here moving like another old dude that can still move like he in his 20s is R-Truth. Who does not get
as long as he still breathes air and he is in that promotion, as far as I'm concerned, nobody's ever gonna say that anybody is better than Kenny Omega.
Dude, did you see his Sephiroth entrance? Can we talk
Yes!
about that?
That one-winged angel entrance was goated.
He was the real one-wing angel.
Dude, when he straight just stood there and he threw his arm out and the wing shot out, dude, I was like a fangirl standing in front of Justin Bieber.
Listen. I bought this Bullet Club, the cleaner shirt, right before the start of Okada Omega 1. And I wore it for every match. And I promise you, like, I can feel every emotion that I felt watching that series. That was the
That
best
is dope.
series. That and Steamboat Ric Flair is probably my two favorite trilogies of all time. And like I love like Maxwell Jacob Freeman is I think like Gunter to me, like a made man, very young in his career. I feel like the company is gonna do a lot with him, no matter where he ends up at. Like he will make it. But like Kenny Omega is in a Rolls Royce in the back seat right now because he wants to. Like the run that he had from 17 to like 20 is probably like one of the great. I would probably say is like The Rock leaving the Nation of Domination, Stone Cold winning the King of the Ring, taking that run, creating Austin 316, kind of like Daniel Bryan beating Randy Orton and Batista to go win the then eventually go win the world title. It's like that little period of time where people have these crazy runs. And I feel like since CM Punk, well, he technically this hasn't been confirmed. If CM Punk is not in AEW, the only person taking that title off of MJF is probably Kenny Omega. There's nobody else that they might build Adam Cole up to do it, since a lot of people are getting behind his push. But I don't know if he's going to be a face or a heel, or they do anti there. They also will put heels versus heels in AEW, which is something I do enjoy.
He would make a great heel if they actually pushed him in that direction, but they flip flop him way too much.
Yeah,
really. Yeah. You can't get a beat on him. He's a great wrestler, but
well, and I think they wanted to do whatever AEW's version of the Undisputed Era was going to be, with Roderick Strong eventually leaving, but they had Fish and they had Kyle O'Reilly, so they were going to do something. I think they got the Kingdom, so they still could do a trio of sorts with Adam Cole if they decide to go do something like that. But I don't. Losing CM Punk, I really believe AEW hasn't done a really good job of pushing someone else who we'd actually feel like would beat MJF. I feel like there's some people in the wins, like a Rusev could come out and I think could beat a MJF. And honestly, like I would be okay with him hitting him with a mushka kick and fucking collapsing his back end and that being it. But AEW ran into the same problem that WWE had ran into before Triple H took over. There were no people created to rotate in and out of the main scene. And I feel like Triple H has kind of reinvigorated the men's main scene with giving us a lot of very strong mid-carders. And now we got a couple guys up at the main card, and AEW is struggling their ass off.
I mean, I feel like Moxley could work his way back up there, but we've had Moxley for way too long.
It's too long.
Blood.
He was going to take a break, so he needs one.
Yeah, need
so who does that leave? Do you have some more for me? Who else you got?
I mean, let's be honest. I'd love to see Jungle Boy get pushed up there. Jungle Boy I don't think he's ready. I mean, I feel like he has skill. He needs mic skill. That's about it. But like, in all honesty,
do you feel like the Christian work and the separating him from whatchamacallit has done him justice?
I feel like it could have if they had booked it right, but they didn't.
I guess that brings us back to our first issue.
Right. It was back and forth. One moment, Luchasaurus is turning on him, then he's friends with him again, then he's turning on him again. It's like you play an angle. Like if he's gonna betray, he's gonna betray. the back and forth thing didn't help the situation, and
Also,
we never got a proper finish to it. It just
right,
stopped.
Mm,
right.
yeah.
And how stupid are you for keep trusting this motherfucker? If you,
Yeah.
it's just yeah. Booking in AEW is
I'm
something
gonna be
else.
honest with you. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Hmm.
Because I felt that AEW was very high on Christian when he came in. I would have done that, and I would have booked Christian to win the series and take him away and use that as a building block for Jungle Boy moving forward because he would have been a very apologetic baby face. You know what I'm
Right,
saying? Digging up.
right.
I feel like that would have been very good. And then honestly, coming off of that, Gunner, I feel like you could have slung him toward a mid card title and like slung him, or even well, he did have a bunch of championship title challenges. He just got thwarted in there because he lost to Kenny Omega in there. I believe who else did he fight in? He fought somebody else in there.
He
He
tried going
fought Chris
after.
Jericho. He fought Chris Jericho. He lost to Chris Jericho. So I mean, he had some title shots. He
Yeah,
just you
like
know.
I said, if they had booked him right, he has skill. Like he's a good wrestler.
Mhm.
He hasn't gotten that push. He like I said, he's terrible on the mic, but
Yeah,
at the
absolutely.
same time, when he was teamed up with Marco Stunt, it was a funny gimmick. You loved watching it. Little Marco trying to go in and Luchasaurus grabbing him by his tights and just lifting him up like a fucking toy. Just
Yeah.
him struggling and flailing like a freaking magic cart. Like it was
Peak. That's peak early AEW.
Now, yeah, the
Man,
question isn't was AEW great at the beginning. It's just
now it's just
yeah, like now,
where's the sustainability though? Yeah,
but
right.
like
here big issue now that I something I was reading before I got on here is with the ratings being down like that. Tony Khan is apparently hinting towards making another show.
well, so I actually have this queued up. I'm gonna watch it when we get finished. It came out a couple hours ago. It's some hints towards an announcement. So Tony has a big announcement this week that I believe are gonna get tomorrow or Friday. And so like we know he's been trying to get an ROH deal.
Hmm.
um, we also know that like the ratings have been taking a toll, and so Daddy has been encouraging him to make sure they're doing all the things. So that could also potentially mean another AEW show. So that would be three that would mirror WWE, but I understand needing the extra time because of the roster size, but I don't understand it in a sense of
If you can't
programming
get it
when you're
right,
already struggling. You're
right,
already struggling,
right.
right? So let's take into consideration we got Dark, we got Elevation, we got Dynamite, we got Rampage. So that's four shows. We had another show that's fifth show. So whether that's ROH or AEW, that's still a fifth show in which Tony is having input on planning. Struggling doing four, gonna add a fifth one to struggle anymore and not add any staff to help compensate. It just, as someone who it works in HR and covers back end a lot, that it doesn't make sense to me.
It doesn't.
What about you, Gunner?
I feel like if they want to improve, there's an easy way to do it. You have a lot of legends, a lot of old school wrestlers. Uh People like you got Jake the Snake Roberts, who is still, I'm pretty sure, still under contract, if I'm correct.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
You got
Yeah.
people like Arn Anderson, who would make great people to help you sit back and help you with these storylines. You got people like from the Attitude Era, Billy Gunn, who could
Yep.
definitely sit back and help you with these storylines because they're not wrestling; they have more time to focus on helping them out. But like, if he insists on doing it himself or letting the wrestlers do it themselves, the only way for him to crawl out of this, and he could do it so easily, is to have people helping write the storylines because Yeah, I mean, that's the only way I feel like it's going to work out. I have high hopes for AEW, and
Mhm.
the more and more it goes through, it feels like a pipe dream, but I'm still holding on hope, like I did when WWE was going downhill 10 years ago.
Shit, man. Listen, I guess I was a part of like the dying breed of ECW. Like I that's something we haven't touched on. We'll touch on hopefully later down the line if if Kenny has me back. Like I was the biggest ECW fan. And I fought tooth and nail for them not to get bought
Ponytail
out.
Paul Heyman.
Ponytail Paul Heyman definitely was different. He definitely was different, and that is definitely a stream of itself. Um, but I hope that AEW doesn't come to terms like that. I really feel like all the things that we've mentioned that they need to work on are all things that are fixable, right? I don't
Right.
think any of those things that they don't have the capability or the financial assets to accommodate.
Hmm.
It's just going to be more or less, is Tony Khan going to allow his pride to kind of allow him not to ask for help, or is he going to break down and then eventually do what he needs to do? um because the AEW is doing the things they need to do. I'm telling y'all, I'm watching every Wednesday, doing a review Thursday morning. I'm watching every Friday, doing a review on Saturday, because like that's the type of wrestling that I want to watch,
Right.
but I am not enjoying the story aspect. Like I
Right.
could turn it on and have it in the background for the fact of me liking enjoying watching a good match, but I'm not connected to it at all. So I'm not pushed to get through all my work on a Wednesday to be available to watch that, or at 10 o'clock on a Friday when I could be out with friends or in my fucking bed,
Hmm.
or streaming at that point. You know what I'm saying? Like that, I'm prioritizing other stuff because the story's just not good for me.
So one person once said that AEW is like watching is basically a wrestling promotion or a wrestling entity that happens to be on TV. WWE is a TV show about wrestling that you get to go to.
I mean, that makes sense. I mean, they're WWE's job is to tell a story. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Is to sell you on short endings. From pay per view to pay per view. Where AEW is supposed to be storytelling, but where that's went, we don't know. And they like the match quality is supposed to be high because they're supposed to have workhorses. So if a match quality isn't high and you got a shit story,
Right.
AEW is really fucked both ways. Where WWE is always going to have a selling point, whether or not they're doing a story because zombies from The Walking Dead, or whether or not they're trying to. I was like, bro, I have to mention this because this was so terrible. But or
Wait, wait,
whether or
wait,
not.
wait. It gets worse. AEW just had a basketball wrestling match.
Yeah, I know, I know, man.
Dude,
Listen,
I
listen.
was I was sitting there watching this with Jack because we pre-record and we watch it on the weekends because he likes to watch wrestling too. So we sit there and watch it when he that's the only days he has off. And we were watching it and he has one of those raunchy sense of humors and he's like, well, I feel like I'm with the YMCA gang. These guys just playing with balls the whole match. And I walked back in. I'm like, what are you talking about? And they're just checking the ball back and forth. And I'm like,
That had to be wild to come into, wasn't it? That had to be that that had to be
Welcome
wild to
back,
come back
Frosty.
into.
We're
I was
talking
like,
about
what
Welcome back,
balls.
Fuzzy.
the hell is going on here? Like, it just. Rusty came back into that. Huh? Sorry about
Man.
you. You lost there, man. Yeah, no,
Kenny,
man.
what are your overall thoughts? I know you may not probably watch as much a or consume as much AW as maybe me and Gunner.
For me, it's heartbreaking. and the reason being is because it was such a great. I don't know. So I also don't know if it was just because it was something so different than what we were getting at the time from WWE, and like we kind of had a enough is enough kind of attitude towards WWE. So when AEW came along, we were like, oh, this is great. And then we saw like them do press conferences at the beginning with like Kenny Omega announcing that he was joining the team, and like we had all these high hopes, and the storytelling at that time was the slow burn that we were looking for instead of having 40 pay-per-views a year and trying to do a story from beginning to end in that pay-per-view. I mean, between those pay-per-views. Um, and there's nothing wrong with short stories, don't get me wrong, but a slow burn is appreciated every now and again. And so
Mhm.
it it feels like we had this really dope alternative that had all of this promise, and then somewhere along the way the ball just pardon the pun, the ball just kind of dropped. Um, appreciate you, Kohlberg, for the 500 bits. But yeah, it's heartbreaking, man. Like it, because I had high hopes that this was gonna be something special, and it's letting me down right now.
Well, I got a bit more news that I was reading up on.
For
Uh,
real.
WWE has no longer holds the trademark for the tag team name Jericho, and apparently Jericho himself is trademarking it.
Huh.
Would you be up to seeing Jericho and the Big Show tag teaming in AEW one last time?
No. No, I don't want to see anything Paul White related. Like
Too bad.
I'm definitely like team cheer for Chris Jericho because like he did like this fitness thing, getting himself together. He's still great on the mic. I feel like the Jericho appreciation, what I'm saying, squad is putting a lot of people over right now, keeping Garcia relevant, keeping Sammy Guevara relevant, and Chris Jericho is honestly like he's pushing Andretti, he's pushing Starks right now. Who else did he put over? He fucking put Daniel Bryan over on the way to fucking to him building up. He put Castillo over. I mean, so he's definitely doing this thing. But Paul White, nah, bro. Whatever he needs to be coaching the giant, the monsters on AEW, teaching them how to fight big. I do not want to see him in a ring. I honestly I don't want to see him in a story. Um,
I'm just
no.
saying that there's a good chance that it's going to happen if he's out there patenting it. Unfortunately,
I know that's what it means because Chris Jericho don't miss an opportunity to make
no.
money. Like he does not, and I love that about him. Down from his cruise ship, down to the bubbly, down to the catchphrases, the painmaker, the reincarnations. Like the man is a wrestling genius.
Right.
But please, for everything that I love and hold dear, I do not want to see Paul White in a ring.
Yeah, that time I think has come and gone. Like
Yeah.
he understand he was very slow to
The answer
begin
is
with.
no.
Like he was very slow to begin with. Like imagine trying to sell Paul White in the ring right now as he is now. Like I mean, don't get me wrong, he's probably in like last time I saw him, he was probably in the best shape that I've seen him in a while, but like
He has little abs and stuff, and that was cool. Like, but bro, no.
I
Well,
think I
speaking
think I
of
would- I think I would much rather see him get his TV show renewed. That was fun.
well, speaking
Uh,
of his shape, what about when Kenny Omega came back? The shape he was in at his age, coming back in just peak physical condition, that was nuts. That one caught me off guard.
Yeah.
uh,
He sold not being able to do that fucking Terminator the first time. I said, you motherfucker, you out here fucking faking people thinking you fucking hurt, and you're out here doing Rise of the fucking Terminator, jumping 2 more feet over the fucking top rope than you were the first set of times that you were doing. I was like, you little shit.
right.
Um, yeah, that was crazy. You know, I hope that AEW gets it together. There's lots of room, potential. I really feel like they did miss a bag though with their stuff with Impact. There should have been a lot of crossover. They should have
Right.
sent a lot of their young new guys to Impact to
Mhm.
lose honestly to their champions. Top Flight, I think, challenged for the tag team titles. I think that was pretty cool. I definitely believe that they should have let if they didn't have anything for FTR, they should have let them be in the fucking tag team Grand Prix.
Right.
He didn't let them do that. I feel like that would have solidified their 2023, even though they were the second best tag team. If they would have won, which I think New Japan would have considered it since they were their champions, they would either got won or lost to the winning team in the tag team Grand Prix. Um, I feel like Forbidden Door was really good. Having Okada in America, I think that what I'm saying, that was huge. Uh, figure out a way to get goddamn Jay White. I don't. I know the fucking roster is bloated as shit, but figure it the fuck out. Figure it the fuck out. Uh, get Rusev in a match. Hell, sign Lana. Fucking stick her ass so she can shut the fuck up and stop talking about him not wrestling in
Right.
AEW. That women's division needs women. Figure that women's division out. Make a women's tag team division. Get Mercedes Monet to beat Jade Cargill. That's the last firecracker I'm gonna drop on that before 11 o'clock.
So,
Well, Sam, to answer your question, Edge, it's better the monster you know than the monster you don't.
Yep.
what up, Vash? But yeah,
What's good, Ash?
Monet versus Jade would work if Monet is in New Japan, and it's kind of like a Forbidden Door situation.
Yeah,
But
but
them two being
also
on the same promotion wouldn't work because I don't feel like Jade is good for where she is, but
mm,
is not a Monet. Like that's
yeah.
you know what I mean?
hmm
It,
But I think you don't. There's nobody else. There's nobody in
no,
AEW who can beat her.
right.
I know the Chris Statlander has been built up twice, and I think that's where he ultimately is going. Which it's flat now. It's definitely dead in the water. But
Hmm.
there's nobody else.
Yeah.
They did a terrible job of building up every other woman towards that. So you literally say, all right,
Might as well start fighting men at
Mercedes.
this point.
Yeah, Mercedes is the New Japan heavyweight champion, heavyweight women's heavyweight champion.
Hmm.
Yeah, she's gonna come beat Jay Cargill. She's gonna hold that, and honestly, she can come stateside,
And then
defend
just
both.
let Jay chase it for a while, like
Yeah.
do like they did Roman Reigns back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
What about Riho's return?
Do they? But do they? I know they're big on Riho, and I know they're supposed to be like re-adding the Joshis to the regular rotation of women's wrestlers. But does she? Is that what beats Jay Cargill? Does that get a pop? No, I'm not popping for
Mm-mm.
Riho beating Jay Cargill.
No, hell no,
I mean, she
not
got
at
a
Um,
all.
pop when she came out last time. I'm just saying,
I mean,
fan wise,
you pop
she
because
got a
she
fan
showed
base.
up, but you're not popping for her beating Jay Cargill. Like,
mm,
in what world is that believable, kind of like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It they
Yeah.
built Jade up to be such a force now, where she just kind of like ran through everybody that it's just I don't see it. Um, we are almost 3 hours in. Be nice. I want you to find somebody that you have that might be up that you might want to raid.
Oh man, but before I do that, first I need to tell both of you gentlemen, thank you so much for letting me join you guys for this. Like, I didn't really know I needed to get all this wrestling energy out until I needed to get it out, man. So I'm like, I'm super grateful for that.
Not a
Like,
problem, man. Not a problem.
I just hit my clapping on my stream deck, like I was streaming and stuff. Like, I want to celebrate y'all for a minute, so I appreciate y'all. Let me see if I can find somebody that's on. Um, ooh,
Boom Zoid, thank you for the follow. You said you have a question. What's your question?
okay. All right,
Thank you,
my
Josh. I appreciate
boy,
you.
my boy, Chief Perry is on right now,
Big Chief is
and
on.
he's playing Code of the Lamb. You know what I'm saying? He been getting back into the swing of things with his new schedule or whatnot, and he is a phenomenal streamer. Oh, actually, you know what? Hold on. Can I
Yeah,
can we
go
go to
ahead.
President? We're gonna go to President Noir. President Noir is on a partner push right now, and he's getting very close. So any support is good
Prez
support
is
to
the
get.
homie.
Yeah, it's getting another one of us over to the other side. So let's go
Prez is
holler at
definitely the
him.
homie. So let me get a shout out for Prez here. If you can, I think it's
See, I
in.
didn't even see. I didn't even see she had put prayers with the insomnia stream. See, look, yeah, I always go to sleep with prayers being on and waking up with him being on. So I'm just used to that. I run off of that crackhead energy maybe like a couple times a year. I don't have that in me.
I hope I spelled this right. We'll see. Yeah, we got it. We got it. We got it. All right. Let's see. Do. So, um, as I'm gonna steal this one from the brother Colbert. Go ahead and take us on out the way you would end your stream. Be nice.
What'd you say, King?
I say go ahead and
Um,
take us on out the way you would end your stream.
okay. Yeah, first out, let's give a shout out to all of our wonderful wrestling community, especially big ups to the Mouth Universe and Coburg. Also big ups to Gunner Games and Creole King Kenny. We appreciate y'all pulling up for the first episode of this wonderful Square Conversations. First inaugural episode, going to be so great moving forward. We got to work out some issues, and y'all make sure y'all follow on Creole Kenny and make sure you follow on Gunner Games. I'll be nice or else. I'm here with a little love, taking a little love with consent, but more importantly, encouraging you to be 1% better, man. Appreciate you.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Thank y'all for pulling up. This was the first episode of Square Conversations with me and Gunner Games as the co-host with special guest Be Nice or Else. Super excited to have him here. Um,
Definitely.
thank y'all for uh, sitting with us through all of our technical issues. We apologize about that. We will be better. We will be 1% better next time.
Hey,
Uh,
let's go. Let's
uh, go ahead, Gunner, take us out.
All right, guys. It's great seeing y'all. Until next time, as always, take care. Peace.
go. Yes, sir. Peace.
Peace.